Hey everyone, today I'm going to be trying to repair the Gemmy animated piggy bank. So if you remember, a few years ago now, I posted a review of this. I think it was like a 200 subscriber special or something, and it had like a really horrible, cringy intro on it. Yeah, it was a few years ago. Um, so, anyways, I still have it, and it's been sitting in my room. Still one of my favorite pieces in the collection, but I never got around to fixing the mouth because I wasn't sure how. So this is a really unique item. It's pretty rare. I still think I'm the only one to have it and have a video of it on YouTube. At least one of the collectors. I thought there was another video at some point in time, but yeah, as far as I know, I'm still the only one to have this, so I figured I'd make a video documenting the repair process of it because there hasn't been anything like this to my knowledge. So here's a quick demo. Yeah, so as you can see, the eyes work. The motor's pretty loud, so I'm going to check that too if I can. The mouth should move. It obviously does not, but I can hear the motor running. So the hardest part is going to be actually getting in there, I think. We'll have to see what happens. So this is like made of like a harder plastic type. I'm not sure it's resin, but it's definitely durable. So the only screws on the item are down here, where the battery compartment is, and there's 4 on the back of this. Okay, well it's stuck on the back of this, this tail. So I'm not entirely sure the best way to get into the head where all the mechanisms are, because you can look in the back here and you can see that the mechanisms are behind that piece, behind the head. So I'm gonna have to get in there somehow. I'm going to try taking out these screws and see what comes out. I think there might be a piece that might slide out, and we'll see if that gives better access to this or not. So I'll come back when that is done. Alright, well I got those screws out. This was actually in there pretty tight, so it kind of popped out really fast. So as you can see, actually the circuit board is contained in between like the battery cover, the speaker, and this plastic, resin, whatever piece that is inside of it as well. Trying to think what else. Yeah, a penny fell out, so this is actually kind of a flawed item. Because these are hollow. The feet are actually hollow, so coins can very easily get stuck in there. Like I think there's 2 quarters stuck in this foot or something. So what I have found out is that it is possible to access 2 screws. There we go, 2 screws right here from removing this, but there might be a few more. So I will try and get those out and see if anything comes of it. I would expect there to be a few more around the top. So I might need to go through the back too and see what happens there. Also, interesting note, the screws are not the typical black Gemmy ones. They are silver, and they are pretty small and flat tops. They've also been painted over, so either they're not original or Gemmy was just doing something totally different with this item. Alright, so I will be back with any further updates. Okay, well I took out those 2 screws, and I guess that is all that was actually holding the head in. So what's really interesting is it really is only held in by 2 screws, and it looks like these clips up here. So I guess it just sits on there, and it's the only 2 screws that hold it in. Here's a look at the inside. This is actual plastic, and this separates the mechanism from the bank itself. I did end up taking off the plastic piece back here, but that provided no help whatsoever, as you can see there. So the one thing that might not be possible to get to would be, for whatever reason, this is supposed to be a coin slot sensor, so you can put a coin in there, and it would, in theory, sense it. It's a little faulty. I'm not sure how well it works. I'm not sure how well it could ever work, and getting to it seems like it'd be really hard because the screws are actually like on the inside of this. So you might be able to get to it by taking these off, but I don't know for sure about that. So the next step is going to be to check out what is going on over here with the mechanism. which is interestingly in pink plastic. That's pretty cool. Haven't seen that before. Actually, before I go further into the mechanism, I figured I'd show it while it's all here still. It looks like there might only be one motor in here. I think these are going to the button since they come up through the head. So this one motor, if it is one motor, would be powering both the eyes and the mouth, which is pretty interesting. So the eyes work pretty well. Actually, when they move, this thing pulls back on the string back there, and that's what is turning the eyes. So let's see if I can get a phrase it for it to do that. Yeah, so that's controlling the eye movement. So it's going to be really interesting to open this up and see what's inside. Alright, so here's a lot more progress actually. So the mouth does have to come off to get the mechanism out, just like the Pop Culture series. Is on there pretty tight, but made it work. So then after that, you have to take this bracket off, that's what those are, in order to get the mechanism out. Yeah, so I guess we can take a look at that. So the eyes are like one big piece. That's the mouth. That's the mouth bracket. It's a little dark in the shadow in here. Yeah, so the next step is going to be opening this up to see what's going on inside, and that is going to be a challenge because multiple pieces are going to have to come off in order to get everything open. Also, here is this, in case you're curious. Yep. So that's a neat image. The only thing left in there right now is the button, actually. Yeah. Alright, so I'll be back when this is open. I guess we could maybe do an activation of it. Yep. Pretty cool. I'll be back when I have gotten this open, which might be a while. Okay, so I have the mech completely open in the gearbox, and it actually turns out it is the exact same gearbox as most singing fish. So this thing is actually powered, the mouth movement is actually powered by another one of the whistle piece head and tail paddles. So I really didn't expect that, but it makes sense, I guess. I'm a little surprised. I thought it was going to be like more string controlled, but I should have expected that when I realized it was only one motor that was powering both things. So after all that, it's just another cracked paddle piece. So as you can see, it is the same mechanism. It's a little bit harder to get into because you have to go through the entire pig, but at the end of the day, it is exactly the same as like the singing shark, the modern day singing fish. So that is really crazy. So yeah, all I'm gonna have to do is replace the head paddle right there, and we should be good to go. So it turns out this is just another fix, just like the singing shark that I just did. Yeah, and to get into the mechanism, you have to completely take off the mouthpiece, the spring, the brackets. That's the other bracket holding the mouth on. I could not, this screw is really stripped. And this is the one for the string. Alright, so I'm going to replace that paddle. Okay, so the new paddle is installed. Went on pretty easily. I had to use a little bit of force, but that's what you gotta do with these 3D printed ones. As you can see, it is the same gearbox, same overall mechanism. The other gear is right here. It's just still attached to the square shaft, so I did not want to take that off. So I'm gonna put it all back together, and we will check it out when it's done. Okay, so I have everything put back together, and it does work. The mouth goes really far when it's not through there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when I actually put it back in. So the motor does make a squeaking, it almost sounds like a beeping sound. And I think that's just mostly, it's under a lot of pressure in this gearbox, is what I'm going to assume. I took it out, spun it for a bit to see if it was like stuck up or anything, and it's not. It spins really freely on its own. but it's like the second you put it in, even before attaching any screws, it like starts making that weird beeping noise. Like it wants to spin further, but it can't. Yeah, I'm not too sure how the actual quality of this thing really is. There were a lot of strip screws that I had to work with. Yeah, so maybe rushed production, maybe? I mean, they did use a lot of different materials in this thing. Yeah, so I'll do a quick demo of it. Trying to figure out the best way to do this because the mouth is gonna... Yeah, so as you can see, it goes really far. Sometimes it doesn't reset on its own. It might have fixed that a bit. It seems like it has started to move a little more the more I run it, so maybe the motor is just showing some wear. But it's getting there. I'm happy with this. I didn't think I was going to be able to repair this. Getting the mouth off was really concerning, but it came off with no issues. So I'm going to put this back together now, and it will be fixed.
What makes the world go round? Click. What a happy sound. It's coming. More.
Well, as you can see, he is now fully working. This is really cool. This might be one of my favorite, if not my favorite item that I have, just because of how unique it is. Yeah, this is crazy. When I first bought this thing, I really didn't think I was going to be able to fix it. I wasn't entirely sure how to go into the mechanism, but it turns out it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It definitely took some effort and some time. This is definitely not something that you want like your first repair to be. There's a lot of moving pieces to keep track of, and you do have to completely disassemble the mech to get into the gearbox. But for all that, it was just a whistle piece that was broken. So that's really cool. I didn't realize that it's even the mechanism that this uses. So, yeah, I don't really think there's much more to say about this. Maybe I'll put up a demo of it now fully working, because now we will have a pretty accessible video of a fully working piggy bank. Now if we can just figure out some more details about it, that would be cool. The only thing I have seen is that this was sold on like a website called Speak to Me Catalog. I don't remember what year though. But yeah, so overall this repair went really well. I'm really happy with how it turned out. You can still hear the motor squeaking, but that doesn't bother me because it has a pretty wide range of motion and it works really well. I did not glue the mouth back on because if like a motor wire falls off or something, I do not want to try and take this off again, because if it breaks, there is like a really small chance of finding a replacement one. So this is not glued on, so it can kind of like, I'm not going to do it, but it will like shift sometimes if you push on it. But yeah, super successful, really happy with the results. Yeah, I don't really have too much more to say about this. Maybe I'll play a few more things. Alright, so I think I will be ending it off with that. Hope you all enjoyed, and thanks for watching.